Net zero emission ideologies will be destructive to future generations. Very welcome. This is me, Armando Cavagna. This is Ronald Stein, engineer, senior policy advisor for the Heartland Institute and CFACT, and co-author of the Pulitzer Prize-nominated book Clean Energy Exploitations. And with us today from Tokyo, Japan, Yoshihiro Muronaka. I'm not sure that I'm pronouncing the right.
That's right.
Oh, perfect. So he's a very experienced guy and Master of Science and engineer, advanced studies in MIT, more than 40 years experience in Shioda Corporation, Applied Materials Japan. He knows very well coal gasification, hydrogen energy, and has a consulting and advisory work at this time. So very welcome. Thank you, sir, Ronald Stein and Yoshihiro Muronaka for coming. Let me start with Ronald at this time. Ronald, please. Net zero is more driven by ideologies, technologies, politics. What's the main driver for this question of
Well,
net
my
zero?
opinion, I'll let Yoshi add to it. My opinion is the green ideologies that are appearing in the wealthy countries only is 100% political. 100% political.
100%.
100%. The zero emission movement is delusion that just electricity from wind turbines and solar panels can replace refineries. And the crude oil that they process to support the variety of products of more than 6,000 that we didn't have 200 years ago. Wind and solar can make nothing. All they can do is generate electricity. And so, yeah, it's 100% political. And I'll let you see go on from there.
Yes, as Ron said, yes, net zero is more political than technological. Sometimes politicians often promise a carbon-free future, but technology cannot deliver it. Coal, oil, and gas are not just fuels, but the basis of 6,000 essential products. Engineers like me know we can reduce emissions, but eliminating fossil fuels is unrealistic with
Perfect.
today's science and economics. If it is a matter of either politics or technology, let me take the United States as an example.
Mhm.
The Democrat has promoted Green New Deal based upon political narratives. On the other hand, the Trump administration has decided to withdraw from the Paris Agreement based upon the science and technologies. In short, technology cannot yet create a world without fossil fuels. So it is a political ideology, not technological.
So
I
you think
think,
the same that Ronald's 100% political.
yeah,
Well, not only that, but take a look at the United States that Yoshi's looking at. We have 340 million people. The world's got 8 billion. So we're like, 4% of the world. And 80% of the world, the scary thing, Armando, is 80% of the world is living on less than $10 a day. That's more than 6 billion people on this planet that can't subsidize themselves out of a paper bag that haven't joined the Industrial Revolution yet. And we're trying to fine tune, the air pollution in our little area. But, most of the world they can't afford to do what we're doing.
But Yoshiro came, Ronald, was a very good point. It's a reduction act, not an elimination act of pollution, let's see. And that does it make sense for you? So the reduction is necessary
The reduction in
in CO2 and other gases.
Well, the repercussion is what's the backup plan? We could eliminate oil. it's easy to eliminate oil because that's only a source of the products. If you stop using the products, you get rid of oil. I mean, we could instantaneously get rid of oil by closing the hospitals, closing the airports, closing the data centers, closing the shopping centers. There'd be no need for the products and oil would go away because oil is useless, black tar.
Yeah.
But fortunately, humanity, as Yoshi has pointed out, we've come up with hundreds of processes to fine tune it so we can make it usable to our needs. We're a product driven society, not an electricity driven society.
A very good point, Yoshi, because from oil production, 15 or 20%, I'm not sure about that, is used for petrochemicals and products that we use every day. But the rest of that 80% probably is used for logistics, fuels. How do you see these applications of oil?
Yoshi, this one's for you.
Ah,
This one's for you.
please say it again.
Yeah, sure. A part of oil production is used for petrochemicals.
Yeah.
20%, I'm not sure about this number. But the other 80% is used
Yeah.
for fuels, gasoline, diesel.
Yeah, that's right.
And how do you see so this proportion and the net zero relation?
I don't think petroleum is I don't think it's true. Petroleum produces much more fuels, and we can live based on those petroleums. So without petroleum, we cannot survive because carbon dioxide is not poison, but the resource for our everyday life. Not only petroleum fuel, but also other everyday products. Without petroleum and CO2, we cannot survive. Even we can spend a day.
I got. Great point. Ronald, renewables bio-based. What's the meaning of renewables bio? Because you came from this industry of petrochemicals, and explain to us what is this, and is it an option to replace the conventional petroleum products?
A few, but not very many. It's not economical. And again, you're talking about only the wealthy countries that can afford these processes. And even if we were able to economically, subsidize and mandate the change from oil to something that was very, very expensive, we're talking about 4% of the world would be nice and clean, but the rest of the world has to survive. And they want sanitation, they want clean water, they would like electricity, and it's just a different world. The mandates that are being imposed is only in the wealthy countries.
Yoshi, do you know very well bio-based options to replace petroleum? How is your experience in this?
Replace the products, petroleum.
Yeah, bio-based options.
In Japan right now, research and development is going on to utilize CO2 as a raw materials.
Oh.
Not for carbon storage, but utilize the CO2 into useful products. But it's very difficult because CO2 is very stable compound. We need a very strict reaction operation conditions, high pressure, high temperature. So it's very difficult from the current technology because we need a very good quality of metals and such a thing. So even if we do those kind of research and development, we take lots of time to make it happen for the everyday life. So So we have to keep going, but we have to wait for the result come to the.
Perfect, perfect. Ronald, very interesting. CO2 as raw material for petrochemicals and things like that.
Well, it's the lifeblood of plants. When you think about the plants that are needed to feed 8 billion people, and that 8 billion is a growing number, it's scary. And half the world right now gets its food from fertilizers, which are fossil fuel based. And basically, fossil fuels are basically helping to feed half the world. So you need a backup plan before you get rid of it. The idea of coming up with EVs and wind turbines and solar panels, all the solutions to get rid of oil are all made from oil. The EV is 100% made from oil. The tires, the wires, the insulation, all the computers, the wind turbines, the solar panels, they're all made with oil. So if you really want to get rid of oil, you're going to get rid of electricity, because electricity came after oil, because all the parts and components are made from oil. So yeah, that's the foundation of our life. And if to think that the United States is impacting climate change and disregarding the other 96% that don't have the environmental controls we have, don't have any labor controls, they're affecting probably the climate more than we are. But we're going green.
Starting with Ronald, let me see what's your vision of Asia's refining processes increasing a lot, and the other side, Western restrictions to geopolitically expand fossil fuels refining systems. How do you see this controversy?
Well, if you take a look at a refinery takes upwards of 1,000 or more acres. That is a lot of land. And refineries, they're not aesthetically attractive. And so nobody wants them in their backyard. And so, the chances of building another refinery in the United States, I think, is next to nil, unless it's mandated by the government to build it. Whereas in, developing countries, go back, 200 years, the United States was a developing country. And there was refineries everywhere. And, you could do anything. You could drill for this and build that. And there was no regulations, no permits required. That's where the rest of the world is. We're now developed. We're clean. We don't want any of that in our backyard. And so it's okay to have it somewhere else.
Yeah. Yoshi, Japan has too many refineries and is still increasing the number of refiners?
Japan has right now 19 refineries, but Japan refining capacity is much smaller than US, because Japan's capacity is about 3.2 million barrels per day. US 18, I think.
Yeah.
And also, unlike the US, Japan has no domestic crude oil resources. And so it depends on imports from Middle East, for example. And opposite to other Asian country, Japan is going in the opposite direction.
So,
Instead of building those refineries, it is consolidating, sometimes closing facilities, because domestic fuel demand is decreasing. The focus in Japan is on high efficiency, low emission operations, and environmental performance, not expansion. This is the current situation in Japan.
in Japan, but almost 100 refineries. United States is 140, I suppose, Ronald. I'm not sure the number.
I think it was like 130.
130.
But they're all getting old. And, in California, where I am, 2 of them are closing. And that's devastating, because California is an energy island. We're separated from the rest of the United States by the Sierra Mountains. There's no pipelines over those mountains. So all the fuel consumed in California is processed, manufactured in California. And with these two refineries closing, about 20% of the supply is going to be disappearing. And so we've got like 40 military airports and 9 international airports. And that fuel is going to come from somewhere. And China has 8 new refineries coming on board by 2030. And so, you might have China shipping fuel over the ocean to California to run California's military and international airports.
Mhm.
That's a real scary thought.
So let me be back a little bit in our conversation, because Yoshi came with a point that CO2 should be used not as a threat, but an opportunity to implement new factors. So it's a very interesting point, Yoshi. Could you please bring more information about that? So CO2 as a raw material, how does it work?
Uh, right now, as I said, right now, we have some promising technologies for CO2 utilization. So, but some of the technologies are very costly because in order to make useful product from carbon dioxide, we need hydrogen as one of the other raw materials. And if we say net zero or decarbonization society, hydrogen should be low cost. But if we say zero emissions society, we need a green hydrogen, not gray hydrogen or blue hydrogen. As you know, hydrogen is currently produced by natural gas or coal. If net zero or decarbonization society must be created, we need green hydrogen, which is a hydrogen produced by electrolysis of water using renewable energy. But this is a very expensive hydrogen right now. So even if we have opportunity or chances for development, we need to resolve some of the issues about that with that challenge.
Perfect, perfect. Ronald, do you like hydrogen?
Yes, but as Yoshi pointed out, it's expensive. And when you talk about expensive, now you're talking about only the wealthy developed countries that can afford to do that.
Yeah,
And the wealthy developed countries don't represent a big percentage of the world's population.
interesting. Good point. Very good point. What is high efficiency, low emissions fossil fuels? Okay, what is this? Is good for climate?
Can I say about HELE technologies?
Hell, yeah,
Are you talking about?
yeah.
HELE means high efficiency, low emission plants. They cut SOx, NOx, dust, and particulates drastically. As you know, air pollution kills more than 7 million people each year worldwide. HELE cannot solve climate politics, but it brings immediate health benefits and reduces emissions from the fossil fuels. That is far more meaningful than chasing an abstract 1.0-degree climate target, I think.
Great. Is Ronald something that only will delay transition, or there's no relation with transition?
Well, there's always developing technologies. And as Yoshi pointed out, we want to focus on improving efficiencies and conservation from what we have. Again, because eventually what we develop here in the wealthy countries, hopefully it'll be implemented at some point in time by poorer developing countries. They're the ones that have all the people. And just because we have it, we don't want to use it and burn it. We want to do it as efficiently as possible. So the high efficiency, low emissions fossil fuel technology is driving it in that direction. We haven't come up with a substitute for oil, so we'll work on the technical balance to make it the least impactful to humanity.
Mhm. Yoshi, do you see that we will survive with all these types of technologies and energy source? Or we need to select some to go ahead?
Uh, basically, you mentioned the climate goals in connection with Hele, because Hele might not meet the climate goals at 2050. But I don't think Hele should be judged by whether it fits climate goals, because those goals themselves are based on questionable climate models and assumptions. So I think from this understanding, we should come up with a better solution for the society and also technology. What types of technology should be chosen for the society coming years? So we have a lot of opportunity, chances, but possibilities. But it's very hard to think within the framework of climate goals. It's very difficult. So we have to reverse the trend of climate change movement, I think. What
Yeah.
about Ron? What?
Yeah,
I
great.
agree 100% with Yoshi, because just like in California, we got 35 million people and we got really strict regulations. The United States has 340 million people, but we got to come up with a solution that's good for 8 billion people. They're the ones that are impacting the environment. And if we come up with a solution that's good for our little niche, it doesn't do any good if the rest of the world can't afford it or can't implement it.
If I say Japan's contribution to carbon dioxide just below 3%, just 3%, but the Chinese living with us next to us, and they release carbon dioxide 10 times more. So even if we do a lot of things with using our taxes, that maybe air temperature decrease might be 0.006 degrees centigrade.
Wow.
But China releases more than 10 times carbon dioxide. So if China blows some emissions, our endeavor is not wiped out. So in talking about climate change, we need to include China, India, and US, because there are three top emitters of
Emitters.
carbon dioxide.
Very bad,
Yes, and
very bad guys.
don't forget Africa. Africa's a
Africa.
growing. Yeah.
How about
there's
Brazil?
Oh,
Brazil
Brazil.
too.
Yeah, Brazil is a small country in terms of production of CO2. We have a very green formation because we have a hydro production.
Hydropower, no?
Yeah,
Yeah,
70% for electricity. But we use too much diesel because our logistics is
Traffic.
based on
Yeah.
trucks and
Mm.
road. Yeah, it's different from the United States that trail and sheep are very strong.
Well, different countries have different opportunities for hydro because you have to have the landscape to accommodate that, to support it, and then finances to build the dam to control that electricity. But a lot of countries don't have the landscape or the environment or the money to do that. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Let me go to my last point for you both. Imagine that I give Yoshi $100. How many dollars you will spend in the best technologies you think that should be interesting? So this $100, how much you use in technologies or energy sources to develop them?
$100 we get.
What do you choose?
I think from the Japanese point of view, climate change is not the issue but politicians and bureaucrats think much of it. But I don't think it is. It is not. I don't think it is a good issue. But current Japanese big issue is domestic to poverty and education and incoming people from overseas countries, how to handle those people, and so not so it's rather not the technological but social problems we have to solve to begin with. So if I get $100, I cannot do anything, but I
Yeah,
try to think much of those but profiles, social society problems, and we can use
better.
$100 to those.
Better than other things. And you, Ronald, a friend of Governor Nilsson,
Oh
what do you
yes.
do with with $100?
Well, with my $100, I would focus on stimulating conversations through social media because the green delusion is they're incapable of explaining how renewables can support the products demanded by humanity. So, like Yoshi, you're not going to get technology to fix the problem, but if you can get people talking and come up with a solution, because I'm all for getting rid of oil, but there's no backup plan. If there's no backup plan, we're talking about only the wealthy countries that have all the products and live this great life of ours. But these developing countries, they would like to live the lifestyle we're living. And I would like to, support them getting there. But to get them to where we're at, they're going to have to use the same products we've been using. And we're not willing to give up the products. So let's have a conversation. If you're not willing to give up the products, then you got to back off, this climate change target. And climate change, by, less than 10 or 20% of the world is not going to affect the other 80%.
Perfect.
So
Fantastic.
conversation. That's what I want.
Conversation. All money. $100 in conversation.
$100, yeah, the social media.
Perfect. Okay, please, if you want to do another final comment, please, you are welcome.
Can I have a final say?
Sure.
I think perhaps the real question is not only about technology or policies, but about how we see ourselves in relation to nature. If we continue chasing numbers and targets, we may lose sight of what truly matters. In Japan, we often say "mottainai," a reminder that everything has value. Maybe the future depends on whether we can live with that spirit, to use wisely, to respect what we have, and to leave behind not only wealth, but meaning for the next generation. That is my last remark.
You are very concentrated on social problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ronald, very concentrated on conversations.
Conversations, and I agree with everything Yoshi's saying. And we keep forgetting with all the targets we have and mandates and subsidies we have, the fact that there's 8 billion people on this planet.
Yeah.
And we want to, and the population going to continue to grow. And if it continues to grow, these people, like I say, they can't subsidize themselves out of a paper bag. So definitely want to have them as part of the conversation, part of the solution.
Yeah. Interesting. Good point. So it was a great pleasure. Yoshihiro Muronaka from Tokyo, Japan, Friday, 8 a.m.
It's early.
Yeah, very, very early in the morning. Ronald Stein from California, 4 p.m., I suppose, in California.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And myself, Armando Cavanha from Brazil, 8 p.m. on Thursday yet. Thank you so much, sirs. It was a great
Thank you so
pleasure.
much. Much
Thank
obrigado.
Great. Yeah, great day for you.